reader, our storyteller, will be Matriarch Booth. She also goes by the names of Solana, Dana Waz, and Laxlin Blue. I'm sure she'll probably be correcting us on those names. So Miss Booth graduated with honors in the field of early childhood, special education, and other trainings. She promotes Native American and Alaska Native traditional teachings. She's enrolled in the Nooksack Nation, and she's an advocate of contemporary storytelling. Um, Advocating for her community really inspires her to do more. So that's our storyteller. Also, excuse me. Also, our people, the people. This is our project. This is a project that we're doing. The people who have helped me put this together are Laura Sandoval and Socorro Chavez. So yeah, those are my partners. And this will be recorded. This will be recorded. This is going to be recorded. So yeah.
I'd just like to add, thank you guys all so much for joining us today. And we just wanted to kind of tell you guys what our goal is and the reason for the Zoom meeting. So our project is on a group change. So we want to make a change in our community. And something that we thought could change is bringing more awareness to the community about the Native American culture and bringing more Native American children's books to the Yakima Valley Library. So it all started with going into the library and not finding any like a selection of Native American children's books. And so in the valley, there's very limited amount of children's books, Native American children's books. So that's our goal, is to just bring more awareness to the Native American culture and have those books available for the families in our community to learn more about culture, because we think it's very important to know about the different cultures in our area and be more accepting of everybody's cultures and traditions. So thank you all again for joining us, and I can't wait to hear our guest speaker.
And they are ready for you, Solana.
All right, thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Now, Qualis Cloak Alciam, Aisquatachi CISCM, Solana Ishtanewaji, Lachlan Blue, Dewayu, Nooksack, Mohawk Bay Quint, Delawanuth, Beatrice Anderson, Chief Sam George, Chief Joe Ortiz, White Owl House of the Wolf, William Booth, Violet Atkinson, Delawanuth, Timakochi Chante, Tanaguth Nalak Suwaida, Planilan Limina Utsu, Awamiam, Dingenwalt, Nilawan. So I just said my three Indian names are Solana, Ishtanewaji, and Lachlan Blue. And I said, from the heart of the ocean to the heart of the prairie, the universe sings to my soul. And because of God, it'll be done, so be it. And it is in radical humility and prayers to be with all of you today. As Executive Director and Principal of Advocates of Sacred, I wanted to share some Ayak Adak, some ancestral tellings and truth with you today. As a mother and grandmother, daughter, sister, and an ally of humanity, I am a traditional pipe carrier, so I have a chinupa. I'm a sun dancer, and I'm part of the Smokehouse Secret Society lead doctor for my family and my people over here in the Northwest. My objective today and tonight is to advocate for our children, our greatest resource, for them to recover their highest selves, for them to connect in inclusivity and love, and to be reminded of their birthrights to heal, to be reminded of their birthrights to reconcile any generational stuff that has been passed on or that is being seen in the community right now. And it's a privilege and an honor to be asked to read this story tonight. I was joking around with Gloria because I'm a traditional storyteller. I usually don't read books. However, I'm just excited and honored. I have a ton of Native books and writings. And it reminded me that when I was searching through the books today, how badly we need more. There's a lot of creation stories that I share that I have that are not written, and that would just be so amazing and fulfilling for folks to read those stories. Although my favorite part about reading stories is remembering them, to retell them and use our sacred breath and remember what happened in the story. And so prior to reading the story tonight, I wanted to preface a little bit and just remind folks that Mother Earth shows us all these examples of collaboration. So what happened tonight for this presentation, Mother Earth shows us that outside. So Mother Earth shows us these successful relationships within each individual plant, food, and medicine. She shows us the protocol of those, of nature of the forest. So there's trees that are the vanguards of the forest that are fire resistant to protect the rest of the forest. There are certain trees that will be able to bend in the wind and be really flexible through the storms, again, to protect other plants and mammals. There's mammals that are the vanguards of other mammals outside. And for the parents and guardians and folks who get to take care of these little ones, it's just, another reminder. And for the little ones, if you ever want to test a theory, or if you need to be reminded of what is true or what is false, you can just look outside, and the evidence is all outside. The only things that promote life there's evidence outside. Okay, so when we feel mad or greedy or jealous or something that kind of makes our parents upset, that's probably not a feeling that's going to help you grow. However, it's so important to acknowledge that. Okay, and the evidence is always outside. I can't stress that enough, how special and how important our little ones are, that they're our greatest resource of humanity. And so here I go. I'm going to shift my camera. Okay. I have a chair so I can sit and read. So you're gonna have to tell me if you can see can you see the book? Is that good?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, good.
Yes, that's great.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so this book is called The Star People, and it's a Lakota story. The Lakota folks lived in the Midwest. They first occupied the territories by Minnesota, and then they were forced to move to the North Dakota, South Dakota region. And so that's where they live now. However, a lot of Lakota folks live in many different places around the world. They're not just living in North and South Dakota. But one special thing about the Lakota people is that they also have traditional creation ceremonies and stories, and they put a lot of their stories in book form. So it's pretty neato. My children are also Lakota, so I know a lot of the Lakota Dakota ceremony and spiritual ways. So this book I thought was most appropriate for the ages of the littles tonight. So it's called The Star People, and it's written by S.D. Nelson. Okay. Okay, is that, okay. Young Wolf and I wandered far across the prairie. Being his older sister, I wanted to show him the wonders of our world. Look up, brother. Do you see how Father Sun travels high in the sky during the day? And see beneath our feet, Mother Earth is alive with growing things. My little brother looked for a long moment, then said, Sister girl, I cannot see our village anymore. Let's stay for just a little while longer, young wolf. I said, then we will go back. We sat in the dry, sweet-smelling grass, watching the clouds drift overhead. Young wolf pointed and said, Sister girl, that cloud looks like a buffalo's head. We both laughed with amazement. There's an eagle, I cried. And horses, said young wolf. The cloud spirits are playing above us. I told my brother, sometimes they take the shapes of animals or people. The clouds are alive, and we all call them cloud people. As the cloud people changed their shapes, the face of a woman emerged. Look, my brother gasped. Grandmother, elk tooth. She died that spring, and we missed her very much. As I looked, I realized the clouds had turned dark in the distance. Lightning struck the dry earth. The day is coming to an end. I told young wolf, Mother and Father will be expecting us. Uh-oh. Overhead, birds cried. Rabbits, deer, and other animals bounded past, their eyes wide with fear. Something was terribly wrong. I smell smoke, said young wolf. A prairie fire came. We joined the fleeing creatures and ran for our lives. Mother, Father, we cried, but our voices could not be heard above the roaring fire, and we had wandered so far from our village. The flames were catching up to us. The smoke made it impossible to see. I stumbled down a hill, and young wolf fell behind me. Rolling down the hill, I despaired. We would never see our home again, or Mother and Father. In the next moment, we were in water. Water in the blinding smoke we had fallen into a stream. Come on, I cried to young wolf as I pulled him deeper. We clutched each other and hunched down, only our heads poked out above the water. The fire leaped from bank to bank. Angry flames flew just over our heads. Sparks and ash fell on us, but when we were not harmed, then the fire was past us, flashing to nothing in the distance. Look, brother, I said to young wolf, who was softly crying. We are safe, be glad. The fire did not catch us. I coaxed him out of the water and up the bank. A strange blackened land stretched before us. I knew that I had made a mistake by wandering so far from home. Now I had no idea how to find our village, and the dark of night was near. I tried not to cry, but tears came to my eyes, and I comforted my brother. Sister girl, young wolf said, Sister girl, the stars are dancing. I looked up high above us. The stars were becoming shapes as the clouds had done this afternoon. First there was a coyote, and then a bear, a hawk, and many other creatures, both animal and human, chanting the star people. They are the spirits of the old ones who once walked on this earth, I told my brother. Okay. Young wolf was first to see Elk Tooth Woman dancing among them. It's my grandma, he cried. You are safe now, my little young wolf, she whispered, holding out her arms. I am here, my sister girl. I was delighted to see our grandmother. Young wolf was happy, but confused. He said, Grandma, I thought I would never see you again. Smiling, she drew us close to her, tenderly rocking back and forth. Beneath a heaven full of stars, we fell into a deep sleep. Young wolf and I dreamed of green prairies and our village. In our dream, we could see our mother and father. Both were searching frantically for us. They feared the fire had taken our lives. We called to them, We are here, we are safe, but they could not hear us. In our dream, raindrops pattered upon the burned ground, wildflowers grew and crickets chirped, moths fluttered about the cool moonlight, creatures crawled from the safety of their burrows, badger, lizard, turtle, and rabbit. The wild ones gathered in a circle, dancing. They chanted a joyous song. Thank you, raindrops, the fire is gone. Thank you, sister moon, the fire is gone. Hey, ya, hey, star people above, we are alive. Hey, ya, hey. In our dream, grandmother and young wolf lifted their feet to the beat of the drum. I joined in their dance. Together, we all gave thanks. In the morning, when we awoke, I felt an emptiness in my heart. I missed our parents. Young Wolf felt the emptiness in his stomach. I'm hungry, he said. Elk-Tooth Woman laughed. She took us to a place where berry bushes had escaped the fire. We ate our fill. Then grandmother said she would take us home. We traveled a long time across the burned land. In places there were flowers and green grass untouched by the fire. That was a sign of hope. Finally, we came to a hilltop. Looking down, Young Wolf howled, "There's our village!" I turned to grandmother. Our mother and father would be so happy to see you again. She shook her head. I can go no farther. I must return to my home in the sky. Young Wolf clutched Elk-Tooth Woman and would not let her go. Tears streamed down his round cheeks. I pleaded with her to stay. Drawing away from us, grandmother smiled and said, "Don't worry, my sister girl. My young wolf, I will always be with you. The star people are always with you. Look up and you will see me among the stars." So Young Wolf and I returned home safely. Our parents wept with joy to see their children, and they were very angry with us for wandering so far from home. But ever after, when my little brother and I walked beneath the star-filled heavens, we felt comfort, for we knew our grandmother and all the star people were watching over us all the time. That is the end of the story. Are there any questions or comments? Was there any favorite parts?
No.
No questions?
Yeah.
I have a question for you. Have you ever seen shapes in the clouds?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What about in the stars?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we have a lot in common then. What about when all the fires were happening in real life? Did you feel afraid? I know I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also know that as a grandmother, I prayed for my grandchildren before they were born. And so I bet all of your grandparents prayed for you, and that means they thought really good things for you before you even came here. That's just a feeling that I have. No more. Is there no more questions? I'm going to keep talking. I have some questions for everybody.
Wait, what'd you say?
I said I have some questions for everybody.
I have a question.
Okay.
And I'm from the other Washington. I'm on the other side of the country, on the East Coast. My question is if you could please tell us about your headdress,
Oh,
what it's made of, why you wear it, why it's important to you.
great question, Catherine. Thank you for asking. My headdress is a lead doctor, part of my lead doctor uniform that I wear in the smokehouse in a ceremony. And so it's how, for thousands of years back before the world was chaotic, before the Great Flood happened, there's creation stories to explain it. And so I put this on, and I have a special pole that has a similar headdress on it. And I have a song and a story that goes along with it. And so I'm able to help my family or help the people with something that's bothering them physically or spiritually or emotionally or mentally. And I was advised to wear it, especially during storytelling, because storytelling was our first healing modality. Back when, before the internet and before TV and before books and before radio, we had storytelling, and storytelling really helped us to be human, and it helped us to connect with each other, and it helped remind us, especially if we were little kids, it helped remind us how we're supposed to behave and treat one another, so that when we grew up, there wasn't a whole lot of chaos or like natural laws being broken. So it was back when storytelling was quite strong. So I wear it because storytelling is a medicine. So anytime I'm practicing medicine, I'm going to wear my headdress, or I'm going to cover my head and wear something really meaningful and symbolic of practicing medicine. So thanks for asking. And so it's owl feathers, and that's a whale bone, and that's cedar bark out the back.
Oh, go ahead, Shantae.
Hello, and thank you so much for your presentation, Ms. Solana. Question that we have in our household is with a lot of tradition of celebrating Thanksgiving, and it's a little off topic, but we want to stay true and honor the Native American truths. And so what are maybe some ways that we can tell the true story of life, love, and what was really happening in order to honor those that came before us in the land that we are currently on here in Yakima?
That's a great question, Shantae. Thank you, and you're welcome. I'm honored to be here tonight with all of you. And that's a question that comes up every year around the same time. I've been answering it the same way since I first started teaching in 1999 is when I first started teaching to young ones as young as 3 to 5, and then into, advanced second education level. And so what I would advise folks and invite you to share with our young ones is that Thanksgiving, or around this time, 540 something years ago, there around 1491 is when Indigenous folks were the main occupants of the land. Number one, we never have had any ownership of the land. We have territories. We have areas that we move around to. We have areas that we had to fight for. We have areas that we had to barter and exchange resources for, that has like good fishing, good hunting, good resources for our village, for our families and our communities, for our ways of life. And what happened was Christopher Columbus and his shipmates and whoever else, however you want to describe them, came over here, actually down south, and just started exploiting Mother Earth and exploiting the people that were helping them and exploiting. So they dehumanized people. They looked at us not as people, and then, you know, began their acts of harm. And ever since then, I know that Black and Indigenous people have been on a mission, and POC have been on a mission for healing, for recovery, for reconnecting, not only to ourselves from being hurt, but to each other and to Mother Earth. That ever since the beginning of time, so since time immemorial, Indigenous folks have had a collaborative relationship with Mother Earth and with the sky people, with the Star Nation, because what's in the stars is below, what's above is below, and that's what's inside of us as well. The evidence is that we're made of the same elements of Mother Earth, of minerals, you know, air, fire, water, earth. Like we're made of the same things as Mother Earth, and we're emotional beings. And so thank you again for asking. I would definitely speak to the emotions of that. And a lot of folks, especially grown-ups, the millennials, they struggle with acknowledging emotions or practicing empathy. And I think that's what we're lacking. I think that we're lacking the practice of being emotional people and practicing empathy as a human family. And if we know something's going to make us sad, like, and it's true and it's history, then that's something to build on, and we can reconcile that. But we can't heal and we can't reconcile what's unknown or what's omitted or what's not talked about. So.
Thank you. Very, very, that was beautiful. Thank you. And so we'll do our best to honor you, your people, by taking care of Mother Earth and passing down the stories, and holding spaces to make sure that we hear the truth and listen, and do our best. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. And I have tons of resources, you know, if you really want to share more stories with the littles or the community or any of that stuff. It's what I've been doing over here and working with amazing folks here in Pierce County and King County and these regions over here. But yeah, invite me to share again. I'll gladly share again. I have a question for everybody. Can I ask? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so, mostly the littles, but I think probably everybody. So when you put your hand on your tummy, do you have a belly button there? Yeah, do we all have a belly button? Everybody, okay. Okay, good. And so we all have a belly button. Do you know that really hurt us when that belly button happened? That belly button is our first scar. That's our first owie. When we were born, we were connected to our mom in her tummy through that belly button. And it was like a long cord. It was like a really long cord. And that was how we got food. And that's how we got to grow bigger. But then they cut it, like they truly cut it. And so we all have that very first scar, every single one of us on this call. And I bet you everyone in the world has a belly button. And so I think that it's amazing. I think that it's a miracle that we're all here together and we all have the same very first scar, the very first owie. We all have the same one, every single one of us. Like, isn't that beautiful? Because what I noticed on this call is that no one's crying about it. Like, we took care of it somehow, right? I know we got a lot of help taking care of that belly button. And so we just got to help each other take care of other stuff too. Y'all are great. Is there any more questions?
Okay, so I just want to personally thank you, Solana. Thank you so much for coming out and you know, storytelling for us and storyteller to our kids. You know, this is great. This is great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Peter.
Yeah.
Anytime, truly anytime. Like I said, my first degree was in education, and I really, really miss being around the little ones. I have 3 little ones in my house, and then I have 2 grandkids that are always over here, but it's just different when you get to be with other littles. So yeah, anytime. And then next time I would like to share a traditional story instead of read one. But that was a lot of fun. So thank you, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful, safe rest of the fall and holiday season, or whatever you're celebrating or not. And just, I'm going to pray that the truth keeps everyone warm and safe.
Thank you so much,
Okay.
Solana.
Yes, thank you so much. All right, everyone, you guys have a great night. Thank you so much for coming. We're all thanking you. My whole group is thanking you.